Hi, today I have the honor to introduce you to Power Sister Terry Wildemann. We will be talking about money, wealth, and abundance. Terry has over 40 years business and leadership experience and is highly accomplished executive coach, speaker, trainer, author, and holistic practitioner. Her focus is on personal and professional development. Terry trains and coaches professionals and entrepreneurs to become positively unstoppable and prosperous leaders equipped with the skills to solve complex problems. Welcome, Terry.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank you, Deanna.
Thank you. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a question that I'd like to pose to you.
Yes.
So the question is, what's your view on what's happening to women in the workforce and entrepreneurship today and in the world?
Well, women have a very different and unique power system within them today. We have resources that were not available to us before. I see myself in where I'm at in life now and where I started. It was an uphill battle for me to in the workplace, especially because in my early days, I was in law enforcement. So you're talking about being a law enforcement professional in the late 1970s. It was a whole different ballgame then. Now it's much more accepted. Now, I will say that some of the women I speak with that are in law enforcement, firefighters, even some flight attendants that I recently spoke with, our challenge is similar. They're similar, but they're different. They're
Okay.
different because of technology. They're different because of the kinds of opportunities. They're different because women are beginning to really own who they are. And
Okay. So
we're good to go.
yes. And why should a woman redefine her success? And what are the benefits to doing so? And what are the challenges?
I am continuously redefining my success because of the different stages in my life. You know, in my 20s, I had one stage, then I got married in my 30s, then I had kids. Now I'm an empty nester. I redefine every chapter of my life. And if we don't continue to redefine ourselves, we get stale. We get super stale. So it's about stepping out of the box and perfection, which we tend to do, and stepping into the world of excellence, because with excellence, you can go up and down and sideways. With perfection, we get stuck in boxes.
I love that. I love that. So basically, you're showing us how important it is, and you have lived it, to change throughout the course of your life as things within your life shifted. That's
Absolutely.
great. So now, how would you explain mindset? Because that's one of the things that you do talk about in your course.
Yeah.
And what do you think influences one's mindset?
Well, mindset is a big deal for me. And I'm going to share a very quick story as to why. I grew up in a household where my parents were Cuban and they came from a country that is now, you know, that they ran away from communism and all that other good stuff. So, but there is a culture, a Cuban culture. I was raised a Cuban daughter in the house. Outside, I was an American girl.
Right.
So there were some big challenges there.
Yeah.
So it was the mindset of my parents and the mindset of who I wanted to be. Right. And mindset, especially in the work that I do today, a lot of our mindset is set by the environment in which we were raised, whether it's school, whether it's in college, whether it's our family. And when we take a good look in the mirror, what I call the leader's inward journey, we get to see within ourselves what is holding us back in our mindset and what we can release to set ourselves free. And when we shift our mindset, things get easier. So do we have a mindset where we dislike change, or do we have the mindset where change is an opportunity to grow and expand and be the best version of ourselves?
Right.
So there's a lot of different layers to mindset. And the key is to release the emotional baggage that holds us back from being the people that we want to be.
Oh, wow. And I like that. Wow. So you've helped us see that mindset it comes from ancestors, is one of the places it can come from. And as a result of that, we have some baggage that we may carry around. And in some cases, it may not be conscious to us because it's just a part of who we
But you
are.
are so right. And a
Yes.
lot of it, by the way, which a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the emotional baggage we carry is actually inherited from our parents at birth, because mindset is energy, and energy goes from generation to generation to generation. And we're in a situation, not a situation, we're in an opportunity in today's world where there are a lot of tools that help us release that emotional mindset, that emotional baggage, so that we stop the pattern. And
Yes.
it's so much fun to help people release their patterns.
Yes, yes. And how can a person identify if they're actually carrying baggage?
Well, that's a good one. That's a real good question. Everybody's a little bit different. Everybody has a different way of releasing their baggage. I, for one, I burned out multiple times. Okay.
Right.
Multiple times. Hello. I had to get hit over the head a few times. But here's the thing. I didn't know how to change the behavior. So for me, when I finally put the intention that I wanted to change and I wanted to be a better version of myself, it was interesting how the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, kept putting certain things and tools in front of me at just the right point in my life. And like the different layers of the onion, things have been getting clear and clear and clear. And this has been 33 years of clearing the layers of that onion.
Okay.
And once I think I get to just the right spot, there's a whole crop of onions that grow again. So everybody's a little bit different. And each tool that I have learned and got certified in helps to release another. Oh, see, sorry about that. I forgot to turn off that phone. 2 phones. My apologies. Sorry about that.
Okay. And so how do you see baggage in relationship to money and wealth and abundance as far as with women?
Well, again, it has to do with how we're raised, I believe. I was raised in a household where I was constantly being told, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, when you've got that mindset, and then you feel like you've got to beg for that extra $5 to go buy a pair of jeans, or, money was always such a big constraint. Going grocery shopping for me was, I still don't like to go grocery shopping. My husband does all the grocery shopping because for me, it was not a fun time in our house to go grocery shopping because of the money mindset and that kind of thing. So, a lot of our prosperity, especially around money specifically, comes from how we were raised and what was happening in that household. It could be something as easy as not being paid what you're worth in your first job.
Right, right.
I will never forget, and I'll share this little quick story. I will never forget when I got my very first paycheck. I was 15 years old, and my mother insisted that I give it to my father.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I looked at her, I go, I earned it. No way.
And a lot of people today can't relate to that. A lot of people, younger people in the workforce wouldn't be able to relate to that. But again, that also shows the impact of culture, because different cultures do
But
different
that's
things
exactly
as
why.
well.
And it took a while. Again, all the tools that I have learned for myself that I know use for everybody else, using those same tools has helped me to release that baggage, but it was there for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And so that helps identify the fact that everybody's baggage and mindset can be different. So I can't determine what my mindset is based off of somebody else. It's something I have to look inside to figure out for myself.
The
Yeah.
leader's inward journey.
Yes, I like that. The leader's inward journey. I love that. So I know you talk about something called shiftology. Can you explain a little bit more what shiftology is?
Well, I love I own shiftology.com. I bought that back in 2010.
Okay.
Because everything I do is about change. It's the art and science of being able to change and create impact in the world. And every single moment of every single day, we have an opportunity to shift, bob, weave, and really take a look at how we respond to what is around us. And shiftology is something that when we realize that shifting in the moment is actually easy if we get over ourselves.
Yes, yes.
If we just let go and expect miracles. That's one of the things with shiftology that I built into it is the anticipation and the belief in miracles.
Okay.
Everything goes right for me. That is my mantra. Everything goes right for me. And when I choose to say that and believe it and wake up every single morning thinking about the miracles in my life, the things that were challenging maybe the night before, the day before, they shift.
Okay.
Because
So it's like gratitude. It's like gratitude then,
well,
is it?
gratitude is an emotion that is
Okay.
associated with shifting. Okay.
Okay.
Gratitude, acknowledgement, appreciation. Those are all positive emotions that shift us from a negative perspective to a positive perspective.
Okay. Okay. So what you were talking about when you say miracles, you mean the actual good things that have happened to you on a day-to-day basis, or maybe you
Oh,
could
yeah. Well,
expand a little bit.
every little thing can be a miracle. The
Yes.
moment I open my eyes and the fact that I can see, oh my gosh, it's a miracle, the miracle of sight. So I've learned for myself, when I choose to focus on miracles, something as simple as pulling out of my garage door and somebody looking right and then somebody out of nowhere coming left and I got stopped. That to me was a little miracle,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know. And miracles come in big versions and in tiny little itty bitty versions. So it's just how we choose to look at life.
Right. Right. And what are the risks if we don't shift or we don't change? What are the risks to us as women, and to us for our finances?
Remember earlier I was talking about the box and
Yes.
excellence? Okay, we're talking about we're stuck in a box. We're in a box with solid walls where we can't get out. We keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a difference. And when the box walls are that thick, it's time to take a good look at the bomb shelter that we created in our heart and get rid of the emotional baggage that is keeping us stuck where we are.
Yes.
And when we do that, we step into a space of freedom and liberty in our mind, body, and spirit so that we can be the women we are meant to be in this lifetime.
Yes. 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 And you mentioned about doing the same thing over and over and over. Could you expand on that a bit? Because I think we don't often realize that we're stuck.
Okay. You're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
We are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, we build our programs, we do this, we do this, we do this. We get to the finish line, and all of a sudden, everything starts to fall apart. All
Okay.
the challenges come in the program. This doesn't work. The email isn't rocking, whatever. And that kind of stuff happens over and over and over again. That is an energetic block that we have to the power of success. That's an energetic block that we have in belief in ourselves, trust in ourselves. And so what happens is, this is basic law of attraction 101. And it's in the Bible. Asking it is given. Well, guess what? If subconsciously we're asking for things not to work out, guess what? It's given. So, but when we ask for things to work out in a powerful way, it's given. So law of attraction works 24/7. I've often heard people say to me, oh, law of attraction doesn't work for me. Indeed it does. And it's based on that mindset. It's based on that perception. If you don't believe that law of attraction works for you, you're absolutely right. And the genie says, as you wish.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So there's actually a link to what we think, what we say, and what happens.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, and that's one of the things that we need to connect. Um, when a woman changes her way of thinking, how would she go about it? Like if a woman wants to change her way of thinking.
It's a choice. It's every single thing is a choice. So when we own our power, redefining our success, when we choose to own our power, the tools that we need to shift are going to come. The right teacher is going to come. When the student is ready, the teacher will come. A lot of the shifting requires you to have a teacher because it's too big for you to do it by yourself.
Now
As
that, sorry, I think that, repeat that, because I think that has been one of our issues. Well, I'll repeat it. The fact that when you're ready to make that change, that you need a teacher.
Yes.
And
Yes.
do you attribute, well, do you think that's possibly a reason why we haven't been as successful as we could be because we tried it alone?
Yes. Okay. No, I'm not going to say generally. Okay. I don't want to speak in generalities because
Right.
everybody is different. Okay. There are some women who, excuse me, they want to do things on their own until they are ready to say, okay, I'm ready now to bring somebody in. Specific things have to happen for them to acknowledge that it's okay. Again, it's a cultural thing. Asking for help in some cultures is a sign of weakness. However, in reality, asking for help is a sign of strength. And for example, when I had the multiple burnouts,
Yes.
my doctor basically said to me, Terry, I don't know what else to do because it was my 7th major surgery. And I knew that it was triggered by stress. And there were things that he just didn't know what else to do. He said, Terry, I don't have anything else in my toolkit to help you. This was back in 1996. And I said, well, this thing called Reiki came into my world and it helped to clear the pain in 10 minutes. He said, study it. So my doctor gave me permission to study something that I thought was a little out there. And I was blown away at the power of it. And whereas I don't use it as much as, back in, I became a Reiki master in 1998. I don't use that as much. Since then, every tool that I needed to heal whatever was coming up at that moment in time was presented to me.
Yes.
So what I've learned in my lifetime is that I was ill in my early days in mind, body, and spirit. And all these tools came to me so that I can now help women today to be who they are meant to be, because there was no one like me around when I was having my challenges.
Right, right. So that's interesting. And I find, that today, yes, it's when you're ready. That's an excellent example of when you're ready. It may have been there before, but because you weren't ready, you didn't see the answers. But once you were ready, you were at that point, your doctor basically said, I can't help you anymore. So you realized it was something that you would have to do, and you were open to his suggestion.
Well, a
Yes.
lot of the tools that I'm currently certified in weren't available at that time.
Right.
So
Right.
that
It gets back to you saying there's a lot more available to us today to help us get to being
exactly
that person we want to be. Yes. And I find that when we do these sorts of things, we grow. When we grow and when we open ourselves up, I can say, like you, that once I became open to things, when I wasn't closed or prejudged something and listened, that I found out that, okay, let me see, let me study it for myself, not let me take what somebody else says and go with it. So how important is that self-study?
it's huge. And you just said a very powerful word, the judgment piece.
Yes.
That judgment piece, whether it's for ourselves or towards another person, it's a wake-up call for us to realign our thoughts, feelings, and emotions about different things. And that happens daily, and it's going to continue to happen until the day we croak and we're in a 6 feet under, because oftentimes judgments come to us in different ways and different people that trigger things subconsciously that we weren't aware that was there. So it's important for us to choose, acknowledge, and keep looking in that mirror on a daily basis about the judgment piece and say, okay, there for the grace of God go I.
Yes. And from my experience, I've done many financial classes and seen people and wondered why. I define it as I used to actually see when we would talk about finances, I would see them get excited. I would see them believe. I would see them say, oh, we can do it. And in this course, it was like a 12-week course. About week 3, I would define it as I saw the light in their eyes dimmer. And to me, what that meant was their belief about accomplishing something had diminished. So how important is it that we honestly believe that we can achieve something?
That's the foundation of everything, quite frankly. And when we get rid of the emotional baggage surrounding it, it opens the door to the Emerald City. And there's that yellow brick road. There's that journey. We walk right down towards our success. So it really is, that mindset's huge. Absolutely huge mindset where that is concerned. Money's a big trigger for folks.
Mhm.
And a lot of it is self-worth. Who am I to have that kind of money? Who am I to be a multimillionaire? Who am I to be able to do this? Who am I to do that? That's emotional baggage that is created in our past. And here's the other thing too. When we keep reliving the past over and over and over again, we're creating a movie in our mind
Yes.
that we just keep watching over and over and over again. And until we sort of flip the switch on that movie and turn it off, then and only then can we really move forward in a powerful way.
That's just fabulous. I mean, I think we have heard mindset for a long time, and we just really didn't understand what it meant. But what I like is that you helped expand and explain it, that it's just not about the mind, it's about the body. It's about the body's reaction to what the mind thinks. And
Yeah.
if we can say things over and over, but if we don't identify what impact it is having on our body and address that as well, then we don't get the outcomes that we want.
Well, there's a very powerful image that I share quite a bit in all my training programs, and that is of the iceberg.
Okay.
At the top of the iceberg is only 1/7. The bottom of the iceberg is the rest. And what sunk the Titanic is what was unseen. I'm gonna say that again. What
Exactly.
sunk the Titanic is what was unseen. So the top of the iceberg is from here to here. It's our thoughts. From here down are our feelings and our emotions. And our body is a phenomenal indicator of what's going on. And I can work with someone and they can tell me about this ache, this pain, this thing that's going on, and that thing that gets going on. And it's a roadmap for me to know exactly what's happening within them.
Wow.
It's
I
fun.
that's just fabulous. I mean, I think that's so important, and that we get that message that we can, because what happens when we actually address both of them? In your experience, what have you seen happen to people from a financial perspective when they address the mind and the body's reaction, or the baggage they bring with them?
They do a happy dance. Just the right clients appear out of nowhere, out of thin air. I'll often get a call. Just got a text from so and so, and they're going to take my program. I mean, it's just so much fun to watch how fast the law of attraction works, how fast prosperity works when we become very coherent in mind, body, and spirit. It's a blast.
Yes, yes. And so, and from a financial perspective, how fast we'll make those changes with our finances. We'll find that we make better decisions. We make more strategic decisions. We investigate. We'll learn more about finances because we don't have that belief that we're not good enough to
That's
get
right.
to that place.
You know, money is nothing more than a tool. That's all it is.
Exactly. That's all it
And
is.
prosperity, which is the money, okay, money, and I throw that in with the wealth, okay? Prosperity and abundance all lives in our careers, our relationships, our
Mhm.
bank accounts, the education that we choose to go after, all of those, and our health, and the 5. And 5, by the way, is the number of change in numerology.
Yes.
So when we look at each of those areas, all of that together is our prosperity. So when we look at our abundance, when we look at our wealth, all of that is our wealth, all of it. We put ourselves in a position where we can live a beautiful, holistic life because all of the areas in our world are in sync with one another. And it, in a lot of my programs, I talk about how do we get in sync? How do we get congruent? What are the things that need to be done? I don't like to use the word need, but what are the things, because need is lack.
Right.
What are the things that we can do to shiftology from looking at each area of our lives in a state of lack, and instead, how can we look at it from a state of prosperity?
That's great. This has been an excellent interview. Wow, Power Sisters. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation with Terry Wildemann as much as I have. We've talked about money, wealth, and abundance. She's talked to us about the importance of our mind, but not just our mind, and changing our mindset, but understanding how our mind is linked to our body. And unless we change both of them and work on changing both of them, we won't be successful with our finances. And she's introduced her shiftology methodology that actually shows us the importance of shifting and moving along. And that once we do that, we can embrace wealth and we can embrace money and embrace abundance throughout our life. If you've enjoyed this powerful conversation and want to learn even more from our guest speakers, I want to personally invite you to become one of our Summit VIP sisters and upgrade your program so that you can get all of this with your registration. Once you upgrade it, you can get everything. You can get free gifts. You can get all the interviews. You can get training programs that each of our speakers, like Terry, have put together specifically with you in mind and your success. What a great way to build your Power Success library. You won't regret it. And you can click on the link below for further information and more details. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in our group. Thank you.